Hello Internet, I'm Hazel. It is almost Saturday, so it's time to sit down for a brand new vlog. This weekend, this Sunday specifically, it is Valentine's Day, and then the following Monday we are getting the Love is in the Air event starting in WoW, so everybody's going to have one more year of a brand new set of chances at that big love rocket. I have 12 level 100s right now, which means I could go all in and run Hummel on every single one of them every day, and I probably should, because that gives me a better chance of getting it than not doing it at all. And I do want that mount, but oh my goodness, how long is it going to take me to queue for that thing 12 times a day? Is it really worth it? I have other rockets. It's not like I can't get around. I don't know. I'll think about it. Also happening this weekend is the GCD TV. There's a tournament going on. I believe it is the European one. I watched the qualifier today, and there were some crazy games. There was this really good Kitty Cleave that played. That had a very, very impressive Feral Druid. So that was always fun to watch. It almost made me want to try Feral, because they can do such crazy things. They can get such crazy kills, and they can do such crazy live lording things. But I know that if I got on one and tried to do it, probably wouldn't go like that. I've got my warrior, my brand newly geared warrior. I took her into some low CR, like super low CR, like 1100-ish. 2s and 3s arenas over the last week, and I am fairly spectacularly bad. Like, I don't think I could actually be worse if I was literally pressing random buttons. But it's a lot of fun, so maybe. You never know. It's going to be a long patch. I'm probably going to end up trying some weird stuff. The one main thing that I really wanted to talk about, this happened 3 days ago. There was a forum post about Legion pet battle tuning. They're looking for feedback from the community, so I want to hear what all you guys have to think about it. And of course, there is a active forum thread. I'm going to try and remember to put a link to that forum thread in the description below this video, so you guys can go and say what you think there, so that your opinions can be heard. And these are on pet battle adjustments, so I'm actually going to read these out for you, just in case you missed them. And I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, because this post is reasonably long, but it's not too bad. So the main thing that they're adjusting is the undead racial. And what they're doing to it is, and this is all alpha, this is all theoretical, so nothing is guaranteed yet, so if this really ruins your day, just keep that in mind. So what they're doing to the undead racial is during its invulnerability round, which is the round when it comes back from the dead, the active undead pet will now do 25% less damage, so you won't have that immune undead pet just absolutely murdering you. He's only going to moderately murder you because he'll be doing 25% less damage. The developer note for that is the undead racial ability has been one of the most powerful, and this change should help bring it in line with the others. So that change seems mostly targeted at PvP to me. The undead racial is widely used in pet battle PvP. It's seen in pet battle PvE, but it's not as big of a deal. And doing 25% less damage during that invulnerability round, I think, is a really nice change, because it's not a super heavy-handed giant hammer smacking into the ground nerf. It's a moderate tuning change, which should help bring it back a little bit so that some other pets get to see some time in the pet battle PvP ring. So I'm interested to see how that pans out. Obviously, I'm not in the alpha. I can't test any of this. And I don't actually know if these changes are implemented on the alpha. I think they're doing that in the next build, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. They're making a change to Frog Kiss plus Sleeping Gas. It now has a 1-round cooldown, and the developer note there is the ability to chain stun opponents simply feels bad, so rather than blanket change to resilience, they're just trying to change one specific ability that has a tendency to chain stun people, so they're toning down Frog Kiss and Sleeping Gas by giving a 1-round cooldown. Thunderbolt, Avalanche, Grave Destruction, Carpnado, Arcane Storm, and Psionic Storm. So those big Thunderstorm giant cleavy abilities are going to have their base damage reduced by approximately 15%. So Thunderbolt, which is that thing that the Mechanical Pandar and Dragonling does to ruin everybody's day, is going to have a 5-round cooldown to match other abilities with similar damage and effect. And they've added a 1-round cooldown to Cleave. So this is going to impact PvE pet battles a little bit, because cleaving teams down so you don't have to deal with really irritating backline pets has been a bit of a staple. But again, this seems a little bit more targeted towards pet PvP, because that is one thing that you see a lot of is cleave teams. You know, you've got 3 Weebominations, they're just cleaving your whole team down. There's not a whole lot you can do with it. So by adding a 1-round cooldown to cleave and then nerfing the damage of the Thunderbolt and similar abilities by a bit, that should be brought a little bit more in line. The dev note there is that AoE abilities are very powerful in the current Battle Pet metagame, especially Meteor-type abilities, so this should bring them closer to their intended power level, and I would agree with that. They're pretty overpowered, and that's not such a massive nerf that they won't be used anymore, but it should bring them a little bit back in line. Thunderbolt in particular was, like, it's a really huge smashy ability, and it's still in the game. It's still on a 5-round cooldown. You can't use it all the time. And then they're making some changes to Graves by swapping the slots of Clobber and Bone Storm. I can't talk too much about this because I haven't really had the chance to take my Graves into PvP pet battles. However, from what I understand from what people have told me about the current metagame of PvP pet battles is that Graves is really ridiculous. And they had an interesting note here. They said that Gray's base stats along with the undead racial makes him an unfortunate opponent to play against, so he had very few downsides. This change should help bring his output in line with other similar pets. So this is basically all of the changes together, a bit of a triple nerf to Graves, but depending on your ability choices, you might consider the Clobber and Bone Storm slot swap an improvement. And the way they phrased something, the way they phrased all this made them kind of think that, made it kind of sound like they're not sure how that's going to pan out. Like they haven't, I guess we just all need to test it a little bit. So they have said that in the next, they're getting closer to deploying some changes to pet battles that they're going to test in Legion Alpha. So presumably in one of the next upcoming Alpha builds, they're going to be implementing some more pet battle content. And I'm really, really, really hoping they do an invite wave to get some more pet battle testers in there. But I'm not going to get my hopes up too much because I feel like all the people that do main pet battle testing, Leo Plarodonic and people like that, they're affiliated with fan sites that have already gotten their invite. So they're already in the alpha. They're already ready to test it. Some people, I don't know. Fingers crossed I might get in one day, but can't hope for too much. So those are the pet battle changes. I think they're all right. I think they are called for. I think they're mostly targeted PvP. And of course, once Legion comes out and everything is finalized, I'm going to take a pass through all of my old pet battle strats. I'm going to try them out as written. And I'm just going to make a big list, and any of them that don't work anymore because of the new changes, I'll just tick them off and try and sort out a new strategy using newer pets and slowly start updating my repertoire of pet battle videos to make sure they stay up to date. But I'm going to do that once Legion is out and everything is completely final because they can and do change things up to the very last minute. So that is my plan. And what else have I done? My art for the week, I haven't missed a day. So the first one here, this is a macaron. This is a French cookie that I haven't made. I used to make these, and I haven't made them recently because I make them with almond flour. My husband can't eat them, and I feel really bad eating a whole bunch of cookies by myself. So that's a macaron. It's not a very good one, but it's like a pink burger, but it's a cookie. This next one is a stag. So this one was modeled on the travel form. The Druid travel form, the deer version of it, which I actually really like. I was going to add a whole lot more detail to it, but by the time I actually got this far into drawing the stag, I was like done. It was really late, and I was ready to be finished with it. So it's just a white deer. This next one is a squirrel. I went for a little bit more of a painting type look with it. I probably could have spent a little bit more time on it, but I'm overall pretty happy with the effect. This next one is a fishy. This is a little betta fish. I love these guys. I've had a couple of them over my lifetime, and I want to have another one at some point, but I need to make sure I can find a place to keep it that is cat free and also not take on that responsibility until I'm sure that I have enough time to make sure he's very well cared for, because I'd want to get him a good sized, either a very, very, very large bowl or a small tank, because people will keep those fish in far too small of enclosures. So anyways, that's my fish drawing. What else did we do? We had, these are some carrots. This is 3 carrots. Carrots are yummy. This next one is a teacup, and this last one is a volcano. So those are my drawings of the week. And we had a couple of questions. So Corzo asks, hey Hazel, have you tried ESO? I bought it a couple months ago. If you've played any Elder Scrolls game, I think it does a good job of putting an MMO to the franchise. It is free to play now too. So those are all very compelling arguments. I have not ever played ESO. I have never downloaded Elder Scrolls Online. And I think the reason for that is I'm not a super crazy huge Bethesda Games fan. The most I've ever played a Bethesda game is I put about 60 hours, maybe not even 60, maybe 30 to 50 hours into Oblivion. And the only reason I did that was because when I first moved out on my own after I graduated high school, I couldn't get internet hooked up to my suite for like a long time. And I needed an offline game to play while I couldn't play WoW. And I had Oblivion. I'm like, all right, let's go do this. So I played a whole bunch of Oblivion. And that's kind of the extent of my experience with Elder Scrolls games. I have Skyrim, and I've never really managed to get past the first couple of hours of it because, A, I take about 5 hours each time trying to set up my mods properly. And secondly, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't really engage me all that much. And then add to that the fact that I'm not really looking for a new MMO. Like, I haven't actually touched Blade & Soul since like the first week of it. I don't know if I'm going to go back to it. I may have been too far out of it at this point. And now my husband's talking about Black Desert. He's looked at the character creator. He's got into one of the betas or something, and he's asking me about that. And I don't know. I'm MMO overloaded, especially when I'm not ready to take a break from WoW. I mean, if I was going to take a break from WoW, I would probably be putting more effort into looking at other MMOs. But as long as I'm actively playing WoW and actively really working on a goal within WoW, it's very, very hard for me to get invested in other MMOs. So I have not played Elder Scrolls. I'm sure it is a great game, especially for people. I know a lot of people are very, very much into the Elder Scrolls games. That's probably a really good thing for them to try, especially if it's free to play. But I don't think it is for me personally. Andre asks, hey Hazel, what do you think about coming back to Wrath or Cataclysm on the pirate servers? I don't know if you meant pirate or private, but it basically comes down to the same thing. I would absolutely not ever do that for two reasons. One of them is I kind of agree with all the things that Blizzard says with when they talk about why they don't want to do private servers and their philosophy of playing on live. And there's a whole bunch of quality of life changes that come along with being on the most current patch. Back in Wrath and Cataclysm, we didn't have a whole lot of things that I've kind of learned to take for granted. So I don't think I would go back in time. And secondly, I just don't think I would feel right about playing on a stolen version of a game. I understand why people do private servers. I understand why that's a thing that happens. I just don't really want to participate in it, so that's not going to be for me. And that has been my week. If you guys have any questions you would like answered in an Almost Saturday vlog, just leave them as a comment on the most recent vlog. Let me know what you think of the pet battle changes both here, and feel free to go to that forum thread. Again, I am going to try and link it in the description below this video, so go check that out. As far as live streams, I'm going to try and live stream. I was going to do it this afternoon, but it's already not afternoon anymore, so I'm probably going to stream this evening after dinner, and then I'll try and get some in over the weekend. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!